This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react. Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn Reid do PR. Woo! Yeah. And I just washed my hair, you guys. So it's actually kind of wet. Actually, I just got done dyeing it, so yeah. Tell me how good that color looks. Yeah? Yeah? Anyway. I have bathed in the blood of my enemies. Reversed my age. Anyway. Partially that's true. Anyhow. So I thought, what might be, oh no, I'm not on this account. I was like, aren't I never mind. What I thought I needed to do, what I hate for you, I just absolutely hate for you, breaking my silence. Anyhow, would be to get caught up on Amber, because she has put out quite a few videos. But not all of them are worth actually sitting here and watching all the way through, which, I mean, there it is. There, I said it. So I do want to talk about a few things. And I also want to watch, there is a therapist, God bless him, who watched two of Amberlynn's videos, and I applaud him for stepping out on that limb. It's dangerous there. It's dangerous out there. I haven't kept up with the comment section, but I know it's one of his more popular videos. It's not always a good thing. Anyway, I did watch it, and I think he had some really interesting things to say about Amber's diagnosis. And I will say this about his video. I think he did an excellent job of staying neutral as a professional. I think people who have channels like his where they are a practicing, I believe he practices still, but when they're a practicing professional, I think they walk a very fine line when they start bringing that practice online, because it's really easy to fuck up, basically. And so I think he did an excellent job of couching his language and the things he wanted to say. My neighbors are bullying again. But still was able to kind of get his point across. I did have a brief discussion with a couple people in the Discord, and I could see how Amber might take what he has to say as validation, because he took her at her word, which I have said on more than one occasion we have to do sometimes. And this is one of those situations for him where he kind of has to take her at her word that she is actually diagnosed with BPD, and that she is actually suffering from BPD, and that she is actually going to therapy for said BPD and is actually actively trying to work through said BPD. He's seen 2 videos of her, all right? But so going off of that is how he approached his video. Even with that, though, he still had some fairly legitimate questions about, you know, how was she diagnosed so quickly? BPD is a very complicated and complex diagnosis. It's usually, he said, like a final, you know, nothing else sticks diagnosis, according to him. They've tried everything else and nothing else seems to work, and that's usually like an end stage. That kind of comes out weird, but the kind of the way he put it was like, they've tried treating you for everything else, none of it's working, therefore they kind of end you with BPD. It's not, they don't start with BPD, I guess is kind of where I'm going with that. He says it better than me, obviously. He's a professional. I am not. So I thought that was very interesting, because that's something that a lot of people have said. And then there was another one where Amber, you know, Amber has to be extra. And so Amber's like, I suffer from all 9 of the criteria for BPD. And he goes, huh, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, the rest of us thought that too. Huh, glad to have that one backed up. So I think his skepticism in those two probably fairly crucial areas kind of backs up a lot of what we, the audience, have been saying. So I think those of us who have been relatively skeptical, yes, there we go. I think we've been validated in our skepticism by his reactions in those two aspects. But again, Amber's Amber. If she even sees that video, I could see her trying to run with it as, oh my god, you guys, this guy, this therapist online said that I do have BPD. He never says that, but he never says she doesn't either. And he just kind of runs with her saying that she has it, and he's not diagnosing her, which is the important aspect here. He's not diagnosing her, and he's not undiagnosing her, because that would be, in my personal opinion, and I think he would agree with me, that would be very unprofessional, and I personally think it would be unethical. So there you have that. I think he has a relatively interesting channel, and it is a small channel. And again, I think for what he's trying to do, I think if he can manage to do it, I think it's going to be a fairly interesting channel. I like channels like that where people kind of bring their profession into the internet, where they're kind of looking at various internet personalities or various internet phenomena, and they're like applying their profession to it. I find those kind of things interesting. Like I like behavioral. I like the behavioral people. There was one guy who was doing it. He quit actually, but his stuff was really interesting there for a while. I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy's channel. You guys know that I watch Observe and the what the behavioralist panel. I forget what their name is. The four guys. They annoy the shit out of me though. I'm not gonna lie. They are hard to watch. They annoy the living bejeebus out of me, but they are informative. So you guys know I like that kind of stuff. Anyhow, so if you haven't watched it, again, if I forget to link it down below, remind me, and I will link his video because I forget what the name of the channel was, and I'm too lazy to go look it up right now. But I am aware of the video. I have watched it. I did like it, and personally, I think he did a good job. So fight with me in the comments if you would like. It's just engagement at the end of the week. So we are not going to watch every single one of these videos because Amber has started a new schedule, and props to her for doing so. She needs a schedule to keep her on track. I'm trying to remember where it started. I have been watching everything. Oh, here we are. We're here. Getting tipsy, crashing out, and crazy therapy update. So crazy. Okay, it's an alarm. I do want to talk. We're probably not going to watch too much of the video. We are going to talk about a lot of things, though, because one of the things Amber has been doing, and Rachel kind of pointed this out in her video, and again, I'll try to remember to link that as well. I think the title of it was Amberlynn's on a PR campaign. And so what did Rachel say? Oh, yeah. So Rachel was pointing out that Amberlynn's on kind of like, she's trying to give herself a positive public relations campaign. That's what PR stands for, if you didn't know. I don't know why you wouldn't, but you might not. And so she's trying to put this positive spin on her online persona. And God knows she needs it. The problem is the majority of the people who follow her are not necessarily babies, and so she's having a hard time with the spin. Personally, this is just me personally, I think it's a good idea. Honestly, I think it's a good idea that she's taking such a hard pivot away from haters and the hate that she gets in her comments section. In all honesty, I think it's good for her to like even ignore the criticism, just even the everyday criticism that she gets, honestly, because she doesn't handle it well. And so I personally think it's a good move on her end to preserve her peace by doing that. She's not very successful at it, but I think it's a good move. She's not going to take responsibility one way or the other, so there's no point in her making herself crazy with it. So there's that. And I in no way, shape, or form think she's ever going to actually take real accountability for anything, so there's no point in me sitting around waiting for her to do that. So it is kind of nice to see her just kind of like moving forward. I know a lot of people, and myself to a degree, think she's kind of making up the degree to which she is being supported off the internet, you know, in her DMs, if one will. Um, I don't know. Maybe she is. I don't know. I doubt it, but it's one of those things. Maybe she's trying to do like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing, you know, like, oh, all these people are totally supporting me in my DMs, and maybe she thinks if she makes it sound like she really does have all of this support in her DMs, maybe that support will start to reflect in her comments section. One of the things that Amber constantly says, though, is that people will send her private messages of support because when they put public messages of support, that they get attacked in her comment section for supporting her. And here's a few things. Like, I have never seen it happen, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. The only time I've ever seen someone go after an Am baby is when one of them has come onto my account and has made a comment on one of my videos. And it not just like rando comment, because there's been lots of people who have left supportive comments towards the girls that just get ignored. It's when they leave semi-attacking comments towards my videos, and then other people will say things to them in retaliation. And I don't think anybody has ever crossed a line, because I would not allow that. But don't get me wrong, I have a I have a high tolerance for snark, so my line might be further my line might be further down than other people's lines, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. But that's the only time I've ever seen somebody say something in support of Amber and then get pushback for it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I occasionally, so I guess the only time I ever see supporters of her get pushbacks is when they put comments on other people's videos who are not supporters of her. And I don't understand, knowing the kind of, you know, knowing the audience of those videos, why you would do that anyway, because you should be aware that, like, read the room kind of a situation. If you're going to leave a comment like that in a hostile environment, like, you should expect to get some kind of feedback that is going to be anti whatever you said. But Amber does try to make it sound like, on the one hand, Amber tries to make it sound like she gets like flooded with support and love in her DMs, but then she also, like, what was it she said? She dropped this bombshell in one of her more recent videos about, oh yeah, the nasty things people say to me, you know, my mom should have gotten rid of me before I was even born. And I'm just like, all right. So she does like to play the extremes on both sides. Nothing important. Anyway, so talking about that, I wanted to talk about Raglan Bleed. I do watch Salty. I watch Salty Crab, and she's had a hard on for Salty Crab for a while now. I don't know why Salty has become the chosen one of late, but congratulations. You win. But anyway, Amber's been after Salty for a bit, and I guess at some point Salty has made a joke about Raglan Bleed. I think it's gross, but that's because I think the whole thing is gross. Like, all of it is gross to me. All of it. So I'm just not like I'm literally not touching the poo. But I didn't particularly think anything of it. Amber decided to take it to the extreme, and I've noticed that Amber has been pulling this thing lately, like within the last 2 years or so. Whenever she gets pushed too far into a corner that she can't seem to get out of, she starts pulling the cancer card. And she either starts pretending like she's got a mystery cancer, or she's not sure if she's having another, you know, spontaneous case of cancer. Or she starts reminding us that she had cancer, and how dare we cancer shame her, and we're picking on a cancer survivor, and aren't we horrible, horrible people because, you know, she had cancer that one time. And it's like, yeah, Amber, you had cancer once, but that doesn't make you untouchable. And you're still kind of a shitty person, and you're still being called out for crap that you did. that had nothing to do with your cancer, right? You taking the inheritance money from Beck has nothing to do with your cancer. You throwing fits and punching walls and raging at people has nothing to do with your cancer. You stalking people on the internet has nothing to do with your cancer. The things that people are criticizing you for and coming at you for have nothing to do with your cancer, right? Your behavior has nothing to do with your cancer. So the why you keep bringing it up, I don't know. And why you keep trying to use it for pity points, I don't know. Because all it really does is piss people off. And then you get mad because people are mad. So stop bringing it up. Congratulations, you're what, 5 years out from your cancer. Cool. You don't even know if you're actually in remission. You want to tell us that, and you desperately want us to believe that you know that, but you don't. And we all know this. So, knock it off. Anyway. So she tries to come after Salty, and she tries to make it sound like Salty's calling her Raglan Bleed because Salty's making fun of the fact that Amber had cancer and that the cancer was making her bleed and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, look, the joke is gross, but that's kind of the point of the joke. And the joke also had literally nothing to do with your cancer. And you're just making it that way because this is your default go-to protection, shield. You can't use BPD in this situation because it has nothing to do with BPD. So your next fallback is your health. And the only thing you can connect it to here is your cancer. So that's what you're trying to do. And nobody but you is buying it. So knock it off. Anyhow, that's my take on that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. Getting Tipsy, Crashing Out, and Crazy Therapy update. This was her first weekly vlog. Her episode 1. This was 35 minutes long. I think it's just the first part of it that I wanted to talk about because I think it was in this one where she basically tells us that she's not going to therapy anymore. So let's give it a shot. Let's give it a little bit of a watch. Bonk. That's my least. See how far I got into this. I am going to speed her up as normal. I'm going to try to not edit this so much, you guys, because I think that's how Snowflake does it. I think Snowflake just doesn't edit. I don't know how he manages to cold take things, but I guess that's the difference between a YouTube professional and moi. But anyway, I've got her sped up to 1.5 because I think it's the first part of this that I wanted to watch and talk about. So, oh, by the way, today is April 1st. Tuesday, April 1st. This is not a joke. Not a joke. Anyway.
Hello, hello. So welcome to the...
And sound's not going where it needs to go. Damn it. All right, we are good. Let's go. Okay.
Hello, hello. So
Hi.
welcome to the first weekly vlog. So this is just the intro. It's pretty simple. I'm gonna vlog random...
This is her intro ramble. Something ramble. Amber's gonna ramble.
Things, whatever I feel like vlogging throughout the week, and then you guys will see that on Mondays. And for the rest of the week, I also planned out a whole new schedule, so I will show that right here. So Monday is weekly.
Monday's a weekly vlog, Tuesday's member-only live stream, Wednesday's weekly weigh-in, Thursday's Let's Talk, Friday's no upload. So there's technically no upload on Tuesday either because that's her members-only stream. Saturday, what I ate today. Sunday, no upload. So she's only uploading technically Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. No, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Because Tuesday's a live stream, so that's not technically... She doesn't have to edit anything, I guess is where I'm going with this. So Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Technically, she's not uploading anything, but Friday and Saturday, or Friday and Sunday, she's not doing anything at all. Cool.
Vlog. Tuesday is members only live stream. Wednesday is a Wednesday weigh-in. Thursday is Let's Talk. Friday, no upload. Saturday, what I ate today. Sunday, no upload. I think having a more stricter upload schedule like that is actually going to help me. I like filming different type of content, so that definitely helps me do that as well. So today's...
Most of the content's the same though. And I think, was it Salty that pointed out the majority of that stuff that she's talking about in this? Can I go back without effing everything up? This, like, The Let's Talk and the stuff that she's doing. I think in the weekly vlog, she's going to have like some Q&A stuff. A lot of the stuff that she's talking about through her schedule, this is stuff that she promised in the members for members only. So she's doing it twice, I guess. But she never really gave the members only live stream what she promised she was going to give us. So yes, and I say us because I do pay for it and I let people know that. But so it's interesting that she's basically promising the same thing twice, only she's going to actually give it to you for free, I guess, even though I'm paying $10 fucking a month for it. Okay, I'm not bitter. I'm not, actually. I'm really not.
Upload schedule like that is actually going to help me. I like filming different type of content, so that definitely helps me do that as well. So today's actually St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'm wearing hoops, and I LOL'd because I put some nice.
You laughed, you chuckled, you giggled, you did anything except LOL because those are letters, not an action.
90s butterfly clips on the hoops. Why not? But yeah, welcome to the weekly vlog. Let's have a little chit chat. So this
Let's not.
kind of falls under like new schedule, new type of videos, because I really was just doing like every other day vlogs for a few months. I want to be extremely open about the fact that my mental health is really, really bad.
When have you not been?
It is chemical, but it's also situational, and I'm going through a lot. Like, you guys see that online. It has been crazy. It's just loud, it's noisy, it's hard, it's rough, and it's only getting worse. As the time goes on YouTube, like, it's becoming more vicious, and it's hard for me because I am only one person over here. But I've recently gotten so much support to my Instagram DM, so I'm like very grateful for that. So for the people who are here for the right reasons and you're not being sucked in by the hate mob and by the rumors and by the slander and by like the literal ableist comments and just the gross jokes.
Sweetheart, you are one of the most ableist people I know. So you can just sit over there in your little ableist corner with your little ableist earrings, and you can just keep your little ableist comments to your little ableist self. People in glass houses should not throw stones.
And just the literal disgust of it all, like, I'm here for you guys.
And look how small her hand is compared to the rest of her. Jesus.
Yes, the Let's Talk videos is going to be very much like rumor based and audience correspondence based. And I hope that with time, though, all of like the bad will slowly just like go away. It won't be so heavily focused on rumors and the tea of it all and the gossip, because I am just a normal fucking person. I like literally promise that. I have become so villainized, and with my mental health, I just don't know like how much more I can take. It seems like the people who like genuinely hate me, like downright hate me, like the cruel people, they're never happy with my content.
You have a different view of hate. You and Anna have the same concept of hate. You both view any form of criticism as hate, but you also, both of you, view any form of accountability as hate. So, you know, it's anything other than people like latching onto your ass like a leech is hate, which is a lot, because there's not a lot of people that just want to like kiss ass for you guys anymore. So pretty much like the whole damn world is apparently against you. So
I have gone back and forth where I'm just like, all of this is so loud and in my face, but the disapproving stuff, the disagreements, the people purposely saying, we don't like this content, this is boring, this is hogwash, like all of that is so much.
Where did she pick up hogwash and why are we stuck on it? It's not the weirdest thing for her to go after, but it's just like, where did the fuck did she pick Does she have like a calendar, like a word a day calendar or something?
Louder. That's why for a minute there I was so hyper focused on that. I was like, no one is happy with anything that I upload. And then I had to remind myself, girl, stop speaking in absolutes. Like, there are so many people who genuinely enjoy anything that you upload. So I'm
oddly enough,
kind of like in that stage of my life where I'm just like, if I want to talk about my BPD, I will. Because the haters seem to hate it. But the lovers are loving it. Like, I have so many DMs of people.
The lovers are loving it.
Just like, Amberlynn, thank you so much for opening up about this. Like, I love to know why you are you. And also people with BPD are like, thank you for literally talking about this.
I've literally not seen anyone who's open about having BPD. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone on the internet who's claiming to have BPD could be lying out their asses. It's possible. I don't know. But literally everyone I know who has said, oh, by the way, I have BPD, none of them have said that they relate to you and your BPD. As a matter of fact, the majority of them go, my BPD is nothing like your BPD. Your BPD is really weird.
You make me feel less alone, and that is my goal. I've gone through multiple eras here on YouTube. I mean, I've been on YouTube for like 11, 12 years. So
You and Taylor Swift, man. You guys have all the eras.
Like, there's been ups, there's been downs, but like the hate has been horrific. Like, it is
Mm-hmm.
by far the worst it's ever been. And I'm genuinely just trying to.
Is it really? Is it really the worst right now? Is it? I mean, I don't know. Like, that's an interesting statement for her. Don't get me wrong. If we go back and we apply the 48 laws, like right now, she's doing the same thing she always does. She's trying to rally the troops, like, and I think, you know, this goes back to her PR campaign. She's trying right now to speak to her supporters, and she's trying to build more support, right? So right now, you know, she's talking about the haters, but she's not talking to her haters. She's talking to her supporters. And she does have some, right? And so right now what she's trying to do is she's trying to build the supporters by talking negatively about the haters without getting too graphic, right? She will get in a minute. But that's the thing. She is villainizing the people she wants to be villains, and that is the amorphous blob of haters. I'm positive in her head she has a few names that are who she means when she says haters, because there are more reaction channels than she is aware of. But then there are several reaction channels that she has this, again, parasocial relationship with, where she thinks she has a deeper bond with them than she actually does. And we'll go into that later when she starts going in on Zachery Michael again. But so that's what she's doing right now. She's trying to create and build that image of, oh, I'm just a poor innocent little girl on the internet, and all these mean meanies are just attacking me because they just hate me for no apparent reason. What the hell did I ever do to deserve all this hate, you guys? And it's just kind of like that, and she'll never address why people are critical of her, or why people question her, or why people have deep feelings about her and her lifestyle and the life decisions she's made. She'll never address any of that, because then she has to admit that there's possible reasons for people to be critical of her, and she needs to hide that because of the support that she's trying to create, right? Maybe she is building a more positive community. I don't think so, but it's possible. And in order to continue growing that, she needs to keep the skeletons in the closet, if one will. But in order to do that, she also needs desperately to stop acknowledging the negativity, or at least the haters in the comments, because if she can, I mean, it's a good play if she can successfully ignore the critical, hateful comments, because she does get some hateful comments. She does. But if she can successfully ignore those and just kind of let them like coast out in the ether, then the positive comments and the positive people and the people who are just kind of casual observers, because there still are people who are casual observers who will read her comments and be like, what the fuck are these people's problems? Those people will see those, and if she's not interacting with them, they'll be like, wow, these people are just trolls. Some of them are. Some of them are. Some of them are people who, you know, for whatever reason, want to hold her accountable, and for some reason think she will react to them in her comments section. Spoilers, she will not. So, cat hairs. So, that's what she's trying to do here. She really is trying to reinvent herself. And we saw her do this earlier when she moved to Oklahoma. She was I was calling it her new Lynn. She was trying to create a new Lynn, and she's going back to that. So it is new Lynn. She's trying to do that again. I don't think this is a new Lynn. I think this is the same new Lynn. I think we're just going back to trying to do that again. So we're going to see the same tactics from that time here again, where she's going to go back on the, oh, they're just attacking me because I'm a fat chick on the internet. Oh, she's going to start throwing ableism around because that's her new buzzword. Oh, they're ableist against me because I have BPD and they're all neurotypical people. God help her if she learns that word. You know, just, you know, she's going to start throwing things out at us. You know, she's going to find new ways to tell us, to tell her audience that we are the evil ones, because there's something physical or mental about her that we are attacking her because of, and it's not her history on the internet, her history of DV, her history of abuse against her loved ones and her animals, her, you know, her financial control, her just in general being an absolute shitty person. You know, it's none of these observed and proven behaviors that people come after her for. She's going to try to make it sound like we're just like ad hominem attacking her because of her appearance on the internet. Anyhow.
Hold on, okay? Anyways, what I'm trying to say, because I'm
Uh-huh.
like literally rambling, I'm gonna be
Right.
filming what I want to film. Like,
Okay.
I don't care what anyone thinks, anyone says.
You say this a lot and then it doesn't work out. But you know, I've always said that. Film what you want to film. You want to film mukbangs, do it. You want to film your underwear, go for it. I don't want to see it, but you know, I chose that lot in life, so here we are.
I'm just gonna do me. And if people leave, I will get a new audience, and I'm okay with that. Because if the
And you know, that's probably for the best, honestly.
right people leave, it's going to improve the quality of my audience. Because I'm
Will
telling
it?
you, people are vicious.
Are
I know a
you
lot of people
sure
will be like,
about
well, that
that?
doesn't make no sense because you're gonna be doing Let's Talk videos, and those are like audience correspondence.
Uh-huh.
Well, during the Let's Talk video, I'm gonna talk more about why I want to do it. But I feel like it's
Uh-huh.
important that like I'm no longer silenced. So if
Mm-hmm.
rumors are happening,
No one is silencing you. You have you have a channel of 240 some odd K members or subscribers. You have, by your accounting, over 400 members, people paying you $10 a month to watch you get drunk on the internet. Why? I don't know, honestly. I thought it was a good idea at the time, and now it's like the sunk cost fallacy. Anyhow, um, like you are not silenced at all. No one is silencing you. So you need to quit with this weird false narrative. But again, going back to the 48 laws, she's trying to, again, she's not talking to us. And I mean us, the hater nation, right? The reactors and the haters. She's not talking to us. She's talking to her Am babies and her potential new followers, right? She's talking about this new audience that she hopes she's going to draw in. And maybe she will. Maybe she will. But to do that, she needs to project herself as innocent and the victim, and Amber can only ever be a handful of things. She's always the victim, she's always the hero, she's always the know-it-all, right? I feel like there was a fourth one, but I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Anyway, and often she's all four. Good job. She's all three at the same time, right? And that's what she's doing right now, right? She's trying to make herself the victim and the hero, right? She's the victim to the internet, but she's also the hero because she's rising above it. She's not going to let us dictate what she's going to put out on the internet anymore. When have you ever let us dictate it? You constantly ask us, what kind of stuff do you guys want to see me put out? And then when the audience says, oh, we want to see X, Y, and Z, you go, yeah, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. And what was the point of asking? When have you ever listened to your audience? The only time you listen to your audience is when they say what you want to hear so that you have an excuse to quit a diet or to do something that you already wanted to do anyway. You never listen to your audience when you actually ask us stuff. So anyway, that's a stupid argument, a stupid whatever. But that's what I'm talking about. She's rebuilding New Lynn, right? She's trying to rebuild New Lynn here. I know a lot of people are saying that she's talking to somebody new, and I think she might be because she seems to always be having like a small harem in the background. So the possibility that she's talking to someone is pretty high. But some people are also saying that she might possibly be talking to Tommy still. I don't personally think that, but that's me. I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong, but I don't think she's still talking to Tommy. And that's just my gut feeling on the topic, because I don't think Tommy would have posted that thing she wrote about Colleen on her Instagram if her and Amber were still seeing each other. So, anyway, yeah, let's keep going.
happening, or people are saying things that they want like answers to. I'm the only one that
Right.
can do that. And with all the reaction channels like literally like feeding off of each other and like the haters feeding off of each other, and I'm sitting over here not saying a damn thing about any of the nonsense that is being said, it makes rumors and speculation true because my silence makes things seem more real. So now it's my job to be like, no, I'm Amberlynn Reid, so I'm gonna tell you how it is.
You are Amberlynn freaking Reid. That's right, girl.
Because I'm literally the person that you were speaking about.
That's
Anyways,
right.
it's a lot.
You are the person I am talking about. You are that person of whom I am talking about. I know the speaking on and the speaking about and the speaking on shit's coming from TikTok and it's killing me. Slowly killing me. And I know that language evolves and I know that it changes over time. And I have to remind myself of this, but god damn it, it's killing me with tiny little daggers.
I'm really just rambling, so I'm gonna go shut up now. So
Okay.
if you guys aren't fully aware, Oklahoma, which is where I live, has been having really bad wildfires and the wind has been horrific.
Something.
So we've been in the red.
Someone sent me the lyrics for that. I've completely forgotten them. I don't actually know the song. I just know that part of the song is Oklahoma, and that's all I know. So
zone, like where I live, for days now. But I'm telling you, like 4 days ago, it was so bad outside. Like,
oh my god, you guys, did you know that Oklahoma's on fire? Oh my god, you guys, do you know that I'm possibly a victim? Oh my god, you guys, you should feel sorry for me because I might be possibly in the fires. Oh my god, you guys, pity me, pity me. No, bitch, no. No one cares.
The whole sky was orange. It was smoky. It looked like the worst fog of your life. So I used to live in Arizona and we would have these really bad dust storms. It very much kind of looked like that.
Okay, anyway, was that the all right, what were we talking about?
I'm a little tipsy. I genuinely, I don't know. I just wanted a little buzz, if you will. It's been a minute. I have clothes I have to put away.
Don't care.
I only have 4 White Claws, which is really not that much.
Don't care.
This new, very short lace.
Don't care. Are you sure I don't care? Care? Oh, do I care about this?
Hello, it is the next day. I have Twinkie fur all over me because we were cuddling something fierce. I've just been having so much anxiety. Like, I'm genuinely going through so much. Oh my god, my hair's so annoying right now. But I'm just going through a lot, and like, I feel it in my chest. Like, my heart
is it heavy on your chest?
It's just beating faster than usual, and then on top of that, it gives me more anxiety. Cuddling with Twinkie and wasabi just like makes me feel literally.
You know, if you went to the doctor and you told them that you had these massive anxiety attacks or just this much anxiety, they could prescribe you things that would actually help you deal with said anxiety and calm you down to the point where you could like function. Crazy talk, I know, but
genuinely a million times better. Like, they're my 2 little besties. I'm not gonna lie, I've been in a bad headspace, and I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I can't just snap out of it instantly, but I need to take steps into like making myself feel better.
Are you actually talking about something? I feel like there was. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, so today is March 8th, and I have some like pretty good news in my opinion. I do want to give you an update on therapy. So when I was first looking for a therapist, I was looking for a DBT therapist because DBT therapy.
This is another part where I think the therapist was talking about how he was kind of surprised at the type of therapy that she was doing. How like, dang it. Is it the DP? I don't do either form of these therapies if it's not evident. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna let her talk. But anyway, he was surprised at the type of therapy that she had chosen to do because it wasn't typical for BPD. It wasn't the type of therapy that you would use for BPD. It was more of a trauma-based therapy. And that much I did know. Because like I said, I have a friend an acquaintance, who was doing the other one, the trauma-based one. She's going to mention it, and I will remember it when she mentions it.
Is like the #1 type of therapy for people with BPD. And I found the therapist that I currently have on their profile. They literally said that they do DBT as well as like EMDR and like a few others. Okay,
EMDR. That's what she wanted to do. So the DBT, that's the workbook that she's doing. And that's like the therapist guy was like, yeah, that's the gold standard. That's the go-to for BPD. God, there's so many letters. Alphabet soup. Yeah, so, but the other one starts with an E. That one's more for trauma. And just going off of what my, again, acquaintance friend had told me, like, that's like an in-person kind of a thing. Like, there's physicality going on there. Like, there's not like touching between you and the therapist, but there's like a doodad or something that's involved. Again, I don't get this type of therapy. A couple of you in the comments section have mentioned that you have had it, and there's like a vibrating plate or something. Anyway, so how the fuck she was going to do that not in person, I don't know. Anyway, so it was just kind of interesting having him kind of be like, he didn't say it wasn't right. He was just like, that's different. Not usually how that would work, but and then he like tries to like rationalize it, and I'm like, it's okay, man. It's fine. She's lying. It's fine.
But when we had our initial consultation,
Uh-huh.
they said they didn't do DBT. They just said they do EMDR. They made it sound great.
EMDR, that's the one. EMDR.
For someone like me, and I love their approach. And as much as like I like them as a therapist, they like me as a client, we do think that DBT therapy is the route that I actually should take. I
Uh-huh.
was already feeling it in my gut, like EMDR might not be it for me. I have been wanting to do DBT therapy for a while, and if you guys have heard me talk a lot about therapy, then you know that. I went and
I thought she wanted to do the other one.
made my first appointment with a DBT therapist that was suggested to me. So I have my appointment scheduled. I'm really excited.
So she's already stopped seeing the therapist that she originally had appointments with. The one that recommended the workbook to her. Keep that in mind. The one that has recommended these two workbooks to her that are both about DBT. The EMDR doctor. Yeah. This EMDR doctor can't work with her now because they don't do DMT. God damn, so many letters. So now she has to stop seeing this doctor and go see a new doctor who does DMT. I know I fucked that one up. Anyway, the point is, she's already stopped seeing the first doctor and already has an appointment to see the next doctor. I don't think there's a doctor.
Excited, and I'm sad that EMDR like just wasn't
EMDR.
it, but that's okay because DBT is the way to go. Everyone is different, obviously, so like if you have BPD, like don't follow me. But I was just sitting here filling out the forms because you always have to fill out forms, and I just had to fill out something that I don't remember filling out for any of my last like millions of therapists that I've had because I've been doing therapy since I was 8 years old.
Really? Are you sure?
Because I was in foster care, and when you're in foster care, you have to see therapists. So
I don't not believe her. I just also know, as someone who also had to do childhood therapy, that there's a number of ways to get out of that.
I've been doing therapy for a hot minute, but as an adult, you have to fill out this adverse childhood experiences. It's an ACE assessment, and I don't remember ever doing that as an adult. I just filled it out. It's 10 questions, and it made.
If you've never done this as an adult, it just further reinforces for me that you've never gone to therapy. Throwing that out there.
Made me fucking sad. I am not gonna lie. So the ACE assessment is a questionnaire that measures the number of adverse childhood experiences a person
I know what the ACE assessment is. Thank you.
has experienced, and I scored 9 out of 10. So
sure you did.
Higher the ACE score is associated. Oh, my dryer just went off. I forgot to tell you my dryer was running. So if you guys heard that in the background, you guys are probably like, "What was that noise?" That's what that was. Right, thank you, dryer, for the music. So it says higher ACE scores are associated with an increased risk of physical and mental health problems such as chronic disease, obesity, depression, and anxiety. So if you score 1 to 3, you have a low ACE score. 4 to 6 is moderate, and 7 to 10 is a high ACE score. So I had no idea what this even was. I thought it was just like a regular like questionnaire. So then at the end, when it was
I'm surprised she didn't say she has all 10.
like press this little button to find out your score, I was like literally genuinely so confused. And then when I saw my score was 9, I looked it up, and that's what popped up. So I was just curious, like, what was I being scored for, you know?
How, A, have you never done this before? B, how did your therapist recommend that you do this and not explain to you what it is? It's just, do you guys see why I don't believe she goes to therapy? Like, if you have never, there are a lot of people who have never been to therapy. I'm not judging you. I really am not. It must be nice. It's just like, if you have never been to therapy, I can see why this might convince you that she's going to therapy. If you have ever been to therapy, this is bullshit. She's not going to therapy. And that dude who made his little video, you could see a couple times where he's just like fighting really hard not to be like, yeah, that's bullshit. You know, it's just like.
So 9 out of 10 does seem quite hectic, and it actually does make a lot of sense, actually. It really just.
Here's the thing. I know what the ACE assessment is. You don't have to, and I say this very frequently, you don't have to work hard to make me think that she would score high on the ACE assessment. Also, you can take an ACE assessment online, like if you just wanted to. You can go Google it and go take a test, right? It's like any other fucking test on the internet. You can find a website that will give you the test and you can take it if you are curious, right? Every single one of these tests that she's taken, you could probably go take a DBT evaluation test if you wanted to and find out that BPD, and find out that you too have BPD, right? It's just kind of this kind of shit. So you don't have to work hard to make me think that she would score high on an ACE assessment. That's not the point. My point is, why would her therapist tell her to go do this and not explain to her what the fuck it is?
It just goes to show that like what you go through as a child definitely molds you into like what you struggle with or deal with
No shit.
as an adult. And it's just like really crazy to me. Okay, so now that
Epiphany Lynn over here.
you guys have seen that, I'm super excited because tomorrow is my first day with my new therapist.
No, it's not. That was so far into your lie zone, it hurt.
I've been wanting to do DBT for literally ever, and I was always too scared to take the plunge or whatever it may.
No, something's not right. I don't know what's not right, but something's not right.
Maybe, and it's happening. Genuinely, with how shitty I've been feeling, I think that this is like the perfect time to start a real therapy cycle. Really.
Nope. Something's I'm not entirely 100% sure, but she's lying about something, and I'm just going with my gut that she's lying about the therapy because that's just what I think it is. It might not be, but she is flat out lying about something, and I'm just gonna say it's her new therapy cycle.
Really diving head on into the things I need to change about myself and the things I need to heal about myself, and that's gonna
She does no, she doesn't. No.
be all part of the self-love, self-care, because I now have ample time to give myself all of the energy. I kind of sort of just spontaneously, and you know, my lack of impulse just made me do a reaction video.
This is her talking about after she just got done posting the Rag Lynn video. Just FYI.
I noticed like when I'm in a more unhinged state of mind,
You don't get to blame your shitty actions on your unhinged state of mind. And you really don't get to do that and then come on and make a video about it where you're effectively gloating and bragging about the fact that you just did a no-no.
stick up for myself more. So
It's like when my brother was really little, obviously. He was really tiny. And there used to be this staircase in our house, staircase into the basement, and there was like this really elaborate chess set. Anyway, it was a whole setup. And for whatever reason, my parents thought it was a good idea to have the chess set right next to the staircase. So like you could step onto the chess set. Anyway, we were told as children not to do so. And my brother, we're going to call him Charlie. That's not his name. But anyway, my brother would come down the stairs and hold on to the stair railing, and you could step through the stairs. You need to know all these things. And anyway, he would hold on to the stair railing, and then he would stick his foot through the stairs, and he would step on the chess set, and he would go, Charlie, no, Charlie, no, while looking at my mother so that she knew that he was doing it. Charlie, no, Charlie, no. This reminds me of that. And I mean, what are you going to do? Go yell at him? He knows he's doing wrong. He wants you to yell at him. That's what this is.
So I'm sitting over here and I'm just like, am I going to regret this? I don't know.
Yes.
It's like you should never regret sticking up for yourself. And it's really sad.
You're not sticking up for yourself. You're making a straw argument so that you can look like you're sticking up for yourself and attack a reaction channel. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Salty Crab is an innocent bystander in this. Like, if she came after me, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Amberlynn came after my channel. I'm a reaction channel. Of course she would be within her rights to yell at me. Come after me is another story, but yell at me? I mean, yeah, she has a right to be mad at me, I suppose. But like, no, you accused Salty Crab of shit that Salty Crab didn't do. You built a straw argument so that you could attack Salty Crab and make Salty Crab look like they were doing something they didn't do. And then you tried to send your minions after Salty Crab, even though Salty Crab didn't do the shit you said Salty Crab did. So, no, you're not standing up for yourself whatsoever. You're fabricating a situation that never happened to make Salty Crab look bad. Mostly it backfired on you, but I know that the internet's not a perfect place, and I know that some of your minions probably went after Salty Crab because there are babies, right? So, no, bitch, you're not standing up for yourself. And you and I both know it. You and your little duper's delight over here, we both know that that's not what happened.
Sad that like I have to even consider that a thing, but it's currently being uploaded right now and I'm feeling kind of hectic about it. It's okay. You know,
You should.
gotta do what you gotta do. I really feel like I need to have a voice. And it's like all of these.
You don't not have a voice. You have a very large channel. You have a silver fucking button. Salty Crab has 40K, 40K. That's a big difference. I wonder which one of you is capable of silencing the other. Math.
Reaction channels want to call me out, and it's like, you know what? It's my turn to call them out, I guess. Question mark, question mark. I'm just not that type of girly pop, so I feel a little weird about it. All right, you guys.
It's called punching down, and that's what you're doing. You're punching down. For whatever reason, you've decided to target Salty Crab, who is a fraction of the size of your channel, and you're punching down. That's what's happening here.
Guys, so I'm getting ready for bed. I do have that reaction video scheduled for like 2 hours from now. I have to wake up pretty early because my first appointment with my DPT therapist is early in the morning. But now that I've been like sitting here, like I'm gonna let that video upload in 2 hours. But I don't feel good about it. I don't feel great about it. It's
You shouldn't.
definitely not the content that I will be continuing on my channel. I don't like filming reaction videos. I don't know what it is. I just think it's super boring. Plus having to stand up for myself that hardcore is just like super annoying, especially when it's something to do with like cancer. And oh my god, the lighting in here always makes my eyes look so dark. Like you guys saw.
No, the lighting doesn't make your eyes look so dark. Your eyes are sunken and you have black holes around your eyes because your health is absolute shit.
Me in the scene before this. That was real authentic Amberlynn, but every single time I'm in this spot, I swear it looks like I have 2 black eyes.
Then why do you continue to film there? All right, I think that's all I really wanted to touch on in this video. Yeah, because I could give 2 shits about her and her oracle cards. I think that's all I wanted to touch on in this video, so I wasn't entirely sure how many videos we'd get done in this one, but I'd like to get 2, so you guys will have like an extra long video. But we are not gonna go over this one because I don't care. I literally don't care. Okay, so this is her I'm not going on a diet and her weigh-in episode 1. I'm gonna be flat honest with you guys. I don't care about her weight. I know I get to see Caesar, my true love, but I get to see him during the lives anyway, so I'm happy with that. That is why I subscribed to the lives, because I knew in my heart that I would be able to see Caesar at least once a week because Amber has to go to the bathroom. And in those moments, it allows me to reconnect with Caesar because for so long we were absent. And I was worried that he didn't exist anymore. Anyway, it's running down my face. Up my face. Sorry. I don't know why I thought of glue. Was there something in this video I wanted to talk about though? I feel like there's like she's doing like a Q&A at the beginning of this that I kind of wanted to address. So let's look at this, and if it's not, then I apologize. But here we are.
On the scale, I care about.
There we go. Yeah, there's something in here because I was watching it.
Hey guys, so today is March 25th. Today is the first weigh-in.
He's still sped up, by the way.
YouTube schedule. So my weigh-in videos are going to consist of me weighing in on Tuesday and you guys seeing it on Wednesday. Related. And then I'm going to talk about how the week went, do my weigh-in, of course. Okay. So first question / topic is, would you try semaglutide again? So I've tried.
Girl, honey, sugar pie, sweetheart, Suki. Semaglutide is Ozempic. I'm past giving her the benefit of the doubt. Semaglutide is Ozempic. Ozempic's just a brand name. She has been getting compounded semaglutide because she's been going to med spas and not an actual fucking doctor. Don't get me wrong. I can't 100% for sure say that the med spas are not actually working with actual doctors, because if you go read the literature, they are. And they are working with actual, what are those people that make the drugs? Anyway, so I can't 100% say that there aren't actual, like, medical personnel involved in that. However, compounded semaglutides are not necessarily FDA approved. As a matter of fact, most of them are not. The semaglutide is, and the name brands that you see, like Ozempic, Wegovy, is Mounjaro one of them? Or is Mounjaro something different? I don't remember, but Mounjaro is also FDA approved. Anything that has a name brand on it, that's FDA approved, right? Semaglutide is the drug. Anyway, it'd be like saying it would be like saying, like insulin isn't FDA approved, but I can't think of a brand name of insulin because I don't take insulin. Anyway, my point is, that was a really bad example, so please ignore it. That's what my point is. There are days where she just astounds me.
I tried semaglutide twice, Ozempic once, and normally when someone asks me this question, it's a flat out yes.
So you've had semaglutide 3 times?
I absolutely would, but now it's a no. I never will do semaglutide again. So
But she'll do Ozempic again.
semaglutide is not even FDA approved. I always ignored that little tiny tidbit because
You're an idiot.
in my brain I was like, okay, if it's coming from pharmacies, and obviously the pharmacies know what they're
Pharmacists. That was the word I was looking for. Like I said, the compounded stuff is not necessarily FDA approved, right? That doesn't make it illegal or anything. It's just not FDA approved. You kind of take it at your own risk. There are doctors and pharmacists probably involved because it has to go through a pharmacy, but it's compounded, right? So it's not, and that's why it's not FDA approved. It's not pure semaglutide. It has gone beyond the FDA approved compound, right? Anyway.
they're talking about. But the more that people are using semaglutide, obviously the more that people are learning about semaglutide, and something that is like coming up a lot, like I've seen articles about it, like you guys have sent me articles. There's a
That you're an idiot.
lot of semaglutide like coming from the black market. People are getting extremely sick.
I'm not saying there isn't. Okay, I'm not saying there isn't black market semaglutide. I won't say that because I don't know. There are articles about people getting sick while taking semaglutide and Ozempic and that kind of thing. Sorry, my lips are dry. By the way, this what is this, black cherry? Yeah, this black cherry from Elf. Heck yeah, I'm in love with it. Anyhow, I'm not gonna say that those things don't exist, and I do know people are getting. There are like a minor number of people who have gotten sick taking it, and I know that there are people who just like have weird spontaneous illness after taking like one shot of Ozempic and that kind of thing. Like those people are a minority. And yes, it sucks to be them, and I think they should be studied to find out what the fuck went wrong because that's weird. But if you're buying black market semaglutide, I mean, there's your first problem. And I'm not saying that everybody who's having issues with it are buying black market semaglutide because they're not. But a lot of people who are having problems are buying it from med spas. So I'm just putting that out there. But there are some of these people are getting like legitimate prescriptions from legitimate doctors, and they are having legitimate problems. This is why I keep saying, if you're going to take it, you should probably do it under a doctor's supervision because you might be one of those lucky people. But probably you're not.
People are getting scammed, and no matter where I get it from, it's just like you never know what you're gonna get. So
if you'd go to the doctor, you would.
Semaglutide is a no. But would I try Ozempic again, which is FDA approved? Yes.
FDA approved semaglutide?
But it's like thousands and thousands of dollars a month, especially once you get to like the highest dose. So once that price is lowered, then we'll talk. What is
I think she thought she was being clever there, so.
your ideal goal weight? So
I don't think I care about this one. Oh yeah, why don't you just go on hiatus and come back with the weight off?
Weight off. Because I need to show up. This is my job, and it's very, very important to me. It gives me something to do during the day. It gives me some.
I believe it gives her something to do during the day. Being important to her? No.
Form of normalcy and routine. I need this roof over my head. I need to be able to put food in my fur baby stomachs. Not many people can just disappear for months on end from their job, and that also includes me. And I
Yet you do it, so.
thoroughly enjoy YouTube, so I wouldn't want to leave. Why did you hide your weight from Beck? So that's something else that Beck has said, that supposedly I started hiding my weight from them.
This is part of the PR campaign that she's doing. Again, there used to be a running joke, at least with the Kicking Geese group, about, everything was always Beck's fault. Anything that went wrong with Amber, it could be anything went wrong with Amber. Runs out of toilet paper, it's Beck's fault. Well, now we know toilet paper wasn't a thing. But anyway, my point, you get my drift, right? And that was a running gag, right? Well, Beck comes back, and suddenly it's real. Everything is Beck's fault, apparently. But that's kind of the gag. Uh, Beck has started speaking up for themselves. Beck has actually started using their voice and has actually started standing up for themselves and has actually stopped being silenced by someone. And someone is very threatened by that because someone is not being believed over Beck for strange reasons. And so this one here is trying to do damage control, right? And that's what the PR campaign is about. That as Rachel has coined it, and I'm going to run with it because it is a PR campaign. It's a damage control PR campaign. We're just using the 48 laws because effectively the 48 laws is how to run a PR campaign, how to make yourself look good, right? And it does go back to Amber again is trying to make herself look like the innocent victim here, and Beck is the I don't know, the evil villain who is trying to get her to eat the poisoned apple or something. I don't fucking know what Amber comes up with in her head. But that's the point. Amber needs a villain because Amber doesn't want to be the villain. And Amber, in order for Amber to not be the villain, Beck has to be. Because there were only two people in that relationship, right? Her and Beck. And if Amber's not the bad guy, then Beck has to be. Amber can't own any of the shit that she did, even though she went on this whole thing, oh, I'm taking accountability. No, you're saying the word accountability. That's not the same thing as taking accountability, right? You didn't apologize for shit. Beck took accountability. Beck admitted that there were some really nasty things that Beck did. And Beck was like, yeah, I'm sorry I did that. And, you know, this is why I did it. And I wouldn't do it again. And I'm sorry that I did it then. That's accountability, right? Amber can't do that. I think she's physically incapable of doing it. I don't genuinely think she knows what accountability is. I genuinely think she thinks if she just says, I'm taking accountability, that is accountability, that past that point, that there's nothing beyond that point. So, miss accountability over here. But this whole revival of it's all Beck's fault is coming from Beck coming out of this corner, out of the shadows, and talking about their relationship. That was like 6-7 years ago at this point. So, I get why she is talking about Beck, as speaking on Beck as much as she is lately. It's natural, in my opinion. The problem is she is desperate to try to rewrite the narrative that Beck is lying, Beck is making things up, Beck is the manipulative one, Beck is fooling all of us, and we're just choosing to believe Beck because we hate Amber. And it's just like, okay, well, prove it. I mean, just prove it. She can't, which is part of the problem. And not only can't Amber prove that Beck is lying, but there's 2 other prior relationships that back up Beck, that are also vocal, who are backing Beck up. So it's just like, anyway.
It never happened. I have been very open and honest about my weight towards the whole internet. I've always done weigh-ins for you guys, and
I honestly don't care if she lies about her weight or not. It literally does not matter to me.
I mean, that goes the same with the people in my life. I've always been very vocal about how much I weigh. I've never really been like ashamed of my weigh-ins because it's like when you look at me, you're like, damn, that girl big. I think it was just Beck being super uninterested and just like really genuine.
Beck was totally the worst girlfriend ever. Beck totally didn't do anything for me. Beck just stayed by my side the entire time I was going through surgery, even though their mother was also dying from cancer. Beck totally took care of helped me with my wound care and literally wiped my ass for me. But Beck didn't care about me or pay any attention to me. Beck only cooked all of my meals for me, walked my dog, did my laundry, moved a couch around, or a whole ass mattress around the house for me so I could sit on it. Uh-huh. Tell me again how Beck didn't care and didn't do anything for you. Okay. Yeah. Beck the gold digger over here.
Genuinely, they didn't care about anything I was saying or doing. So that also went into my weigh-ins. You
Right.
failed all your weight loss attempts so far. What do you think will be different this time? Nothing. The thing is, you guys have witnessed.
All right, next. Was there another question? Hey, it's Caesar.
Back and be like, okay, so these were my goals, and let me tell you how I did. So each week there will be different goals, and I saw basically lower it, and that's I only want to order it 3 times. So if I want to,
okay, I don't care. Stop ordering takeout. All right. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. Okay. Longer video, but it lets me knock out all of these. I want to do this one. We are not doing this one. So let's go. I shouldn't admit this, Zachery Michael. And deleting comments. Let's talk episode 1.
welcome to a new video.
This is 22 minutes long. Again, she is still sped up, so let's go.
So this series is called Let's Talk. I have done this before years ago. It's definitely just a series where I can communicate and correspond with you guys. So
why are we wearing sunglasses on our head again? I didn't do this because I didn't want to get that dent in my hair, because my hair is, I promise you, my hair is still wet. So like, but you know, it's I kind of like it. It's kind of rocking, I guess, especially since my lenses are kind of dirty. Sure, let's do it.
Unfortunately, my channel has thrived, but also died on a lot of different speculation, and I want to change that. I want to use my voice.
Why? It's literally why your channel exists, because God knows it's not the content.
In situations where I normally wouldn't, and I want to continue using my voice in situations where I already have. This is just
again, no one is silencing you, okay? She's gonna keep repeating this until somebody believes her, right? She's desperately trying to grow a new audience, and that's fine. She needs a new audience. Let's be perfectly honest, okay? But unfortunately, the old audience still exists, and they are very vocal. Not just reactors, but the non-reactors too. People are very vocal in her comments and off. Like, there are communities offline or off YouTube that are very vocal about her. Okay? She's not going to get away from this shit. And sitting here and trying to recreate herself as the Snow White of the internet, it's just not going to work.
It's just a place for you guys to get to know me more, maybe in areas that you never would have, a place for me to be accountable, to clarify and deny, and just an overall correspondence between you and me every single week. So
and this is what the member lives were supposed to be. This is how she sold the member lives. Now, we're not naive, right? We knew better. We knew better. We all knew better. I was personally hoping for some Lego action because I like Lego. But we're not naive, right? But Salty Crab did point out, this is exactly what the lives were supposed to be. This is not what the lives are.
The reason I want to do this is because there's always questions, rumors, speculation, just things that people are, for the lack of a better word, obsessively asking me about. And it kind of goes in cycles where it's like, there's like 5 huge things that people are talking about ad nauseum. And I think this is a good opportunity. Maybe I can answer those 5 things or whatever it may be. But regardless, I feel like my
She does have a point, though. There's usually like a couple hot topics that people just won't let die, and they just get talked about to death. So I agree with her there.
Channel is very parasocial, let's be real. And there's always some sort of speculation or always some sort of topic that people are like, Amberlynn, why won't you talk about this? So this is going to give me
She is the queen of this never happened.
The opportunity to do so if you guys bring it up, of course. So I have structured the series into a special format and I'm really, really excited. So the first section is always going to start with sweet and sour. So
I'm going to skip this part because if you guys don't know this format by now, what are you doing? So we're going to skip all of this and just jump to why YouTube? Bum 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 bum. Intermission music. Intermission music. I think we can jump in.
To actually bring the cards over here, so I need to go get those. I will be right back. Okay.
We will not be doing the cards because there's way too many questions about her bedroom life, and I don't need to know these things. Neither do any of you.
I'm back. So Bad choices is just a bunch of really hexagonic questions. So I'm going to be choosing 5 of those and answering them. So I know this introduction was super long. We will not be doing that in the future videos. I just
I have no room to talk about.
and I wanted to talk about what the series is about. So let's get into it. Okay, sadly, we are skipping over sweet and sour because I can't do it. And we're going to go straight to sip and community. Have you considered that your refusal to do inpatient treatment could be linked to a drug addict's refusal to do rehab? No, because I actually think doing
No, because I am not an addict. How dare? Sounds suspiciously like someone who's an addict would say.
Inpatient would be fun. I know a lot of people are going to be like, fun, that's really the adjective you're going to use for that. The only reason why I choose not to do inpatient is because it is extremely
Yes, because I know every time I've heard Alex's Schick talk about his recovery, the words he uses is fun. And when I hear it, I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a party. Can't believe more people don't. Okay, anyway.
extremely expensive, and I have a job. Not only do I have a job I have to do to keep the roof over my head, the electricity running, and the food in my fur baby's stomach, but I have fur babies that need to be taken care of. I know that
Stop.
I's could be dot and the T's could be crossed. Like, my mom could probably watch my fur baby.
Also, that's not when you use that, but whatever.
But like, it's the job thing for me. If I was to be able to go into inpatient and be able to vlog my whole experience and upload, still make an income so I can still pay my bills.
I'm sure you could find someplace that would let you do that. B, do I want to watch that?
Then I would do it. Why is it okay for you to make assumptions about ZM's mental health, but when your audience does it, it's mental health shaming? So I've never really made an assumption about his
Really? Really?
mental health. Months and months ago when I said, whoa, what a quinky dink, Zachery Michael's mental health gets bad when I take a break from YouTube. I think that was my way of just being like, okay, if you
Also, it didn't.
you can dish it, I expect you're going to be able to take it. There have been times where he has mocked me about my mental health or a hard
No, he just tells you to go to therapy, which is what most people do. I come at you, and I know there are some people who do mock you because you refuse to do anything to improve said mental health except mention it over and over and over and over and over again. Zachery Michael, from my understanding, is probably one of the most like compassionate reactors. So I don't know why you go after him. But talking about the lives. Was it this past live or the live before this? I think it was the last live. Yeah, it was last week's. She basically admits during the live that she was harassing Zachery Michael by blowing his phone up with messages, and just would not let him be by just messaging him over and over and over and over again. And she saw nothing wrong with that. And her messages that she was sending him, she was trying to confront him about his ex and was trying to bring up his ex. And, oh, what if his ex said this? Oh, what if his ex said that? Oh, this, that, something else. Like, she was being as vile as humanly possible about Zachery Michael's breakup on purpose because she wanted him to know what it felt like. So you admit that you were harassing him, you were basically digitally stalking him, and you were purposefully talking about things that you knew would trigger him because you wanted him to know what it was like. But you're not the one in the wrong here. Okay, cool.
heartbreak, a relationship, just some way that I was feeling. I have felt mocked. I have felt hurt. I'm allowed to feel that way. And in my brain, I was like, okay,
You can feel that way all you want. That doesn't make it real. That's the whole point of paranoia.
he's been doing this for years. Now it's my turn. Have you traveled
He's been doing this for years. Now it's my turn. A bully says what?
the world since breaking up with Beck? No, but I have traveled. I have
You've moved.
went to Oklahoma. I've went to Wisconsin. I've went to
You traveled to Oklahoma because you had to move. You tried to move in with your then girlfriend in Wisconsin, who then kicked your ass out because they don't want to live with you.
Tennessee. I've went to Michigan.
And I forgot to say,
Who is she in Michigan?
I've been to Illinois.
Okay.
Since then, Chicago, hello, Billie Eilish concert.
And I've done things that I
You know, Chicago is in Illinois. I think she does. But yeah, okay. You traveled to Chicago. That, I guess, counts.
wouldn't have. So based on your physical health and your track record for change, what do you estimate your life expectancy to be, and what will you do with that time? So this is kind of like gruesome, but based on how I feel and the things that I go through, probably somewhere in my 50s, and I feel like early 50s. I don't know why. Like that's when my grandma died. Actually, it was when she was 51. But like the number 53 keeps popping in my
Is this the mysterious grandma that was all of the same things Amber is right now?
head, and slightly 54. That's a very gruesome question. And what will I do?
You answered it.
With that time, it depends. Like, am I trying to better myself, whether that be physically, emotionally,
It depends. You know, literally, I'm gonna go buy a bag. It depends.
mentally, etc., which is where I'm at right now, or am I just going to just flop like a fish and not care about anything? I want to say it's this over here. So by doing this over here, that means I might see my 60s. I think regardless of which one I choose, I'll never see my 70s.
I love that it goes. I love that she's okay with the fact that she's not going to see her mid 50s. And I love that she's like, yeah, but if I work on improving myself, I might make it to 60. I mean, I'm of the opinion, and this is something I've always wondered when I watch 600-Pound Life, you know, they're always like, oh, you got to lose weight now because, you know, it's shortening your lifespan. And I've always been curious about, like, how much damage has being that overweight for that, because most of these people have been overweight for a long period. Like, how much damage, irreversible damage, have you already done to your body by being that overweight for that long that it doesn't actually matter how much weight you lose, right? Like, how much time have you already eliminated from your lifespan that you can't get back, right? I've always wondered about that. And I guess she's wondering about it too. Turn the fan on my computer. It's getting hot.
And that's kind of a sad reality. How does it feel knowing you've been stuck in a time loop for the last decade, when your watchers have graduated college with masters, gotten married, etc.? The world is evolving around you, yet you haven't changed a thing. So first of
She completely misses the point of this question, by the way.
all, to those who have graduated college with masters, hell yeah, props to ya. But
I don't need your I don't need that. Thank you.
I do want to say everyone's timeline is completely different. Some people get married when they're 18. Some people get married when they're freaking 62. You know,
That wasn't the point of the question.
more people than you think have very routine, boring, everyday lives. Like they get up, they shower, they have their breakfast, they head to work, they come home, they have dinner, they relax, and that's that. Like a lot of people do have that life, and I think that we just need to be grateful.
Still not the point. You know that a lot of those people with that boring routine life have gone to school, gotten their master's degree, got married, have children, and that's part of their routine life. You know, things you don't have, but want. You say you want. You say you want those things.
To be alive regardless. Just because someone is married versus someone who isn't, that doesn't make one of them better than the other versus someone graduated with masters versus someone who didn't.
No, it doesn't. Having an advanced degree, being married, having children, you know, owning a house, that doesn't make you better or worse than someone who does or does not have those things, right? Making or achieving certain landmarks within your life does not make you a better person than someone who didn't, right? Excuse me. The point of the question was, your audience has evolved. They have progressed with their lives, for good or for ill. You know, achieving landmarks doesn't necessarily mean your life has improved, but you are achieving landmarks. Whereas you have not done anything. The only thing that has changed in your life is the scenery. You have moved from, what, 4 different houses and have had a handful of other girlfriends. I'm not doing math right now. That's the only thing that has changed. That and how big you are. Those are not landmarks, right? That's all that's changed for you. And that's kind of the point. You have been in a rut since, well, the Crystal era. So for 11 years that we have watched, you have not improved. And it's not even that you haven't improved, you just haven't changed.
It doesn't make one of them better than the other. I have my accomplishments. I have things in my life that make.
What? What are your accomplishments? Like, I'm not even trying to be too much of a dick here. I think we've done this before on the channel. It's just like, what are your accomplishments in the last 11 years? Because that was the question. Not your whole entire life, but the past 11 years. What have you accomplished Other than getting your silver button, I suppose that's kind of an accomplishment. But what else have you done? And getting your silver button is kind of a crapshoot, honestly, because if people don't like your channel, you're not getting a silver button. Like that's just the reality of the situation, right?
Make me extremely happy. This is my life and my routine. I've been stuck in a time loop when it comes to my weight. I will admit that. But when it comes to like growing and bettering myself,
How?
I have not been stuck in a loop. 10 years ago, I could not have ever imagined myself not only being single, but living by myself. That would have never happened.
You live by yourself because no one will live with you. You live by yourself because your last girlfriend drove your ass to Oklahoma, dumped you, and fled back to New York. I guess, I think, I don't know.
10 years ago, I could not imagine myself making amazing money, using my own debit card, being able to not only take care of myself, but my fur babies, having a roof over my head. If I want it, I buy it. If I need it, I buy it. I never imagined having that type of life. Yeah.
Self-sufficiency, I will give you. All right, I'll give you that one. I know somebody will argue with me, but I'll give you that one.
Yes, I suffered with BPD 10 years ago, and I still do to this day.
No, you don't.
But 10 years ago, it was way worse. In that,
That was another thing that the therapist, y'all, if you haven't watched the video, you should go watch it. That was another thing the therapist kind of pointed out was how early she claims to have been diagnosed with it. He was like, yeah, that's not normally how you don't normally diagnose somebody that young with BPD. He stayed so neutral. I really do give him props for that. But he did also say things that kind of point out that she's full of shit.
I never imagined being able to be by myself and enjoying alone time because I was always so, oh my God, I need my partner. And like,
Honey, ever since you've moved to Oklahoma, you have done nothing but try to find a partner to either move in with you or to move in with. You tried to move Valentine in almost immediately. First off, you tried to convince Wifey to stay with you. Then you tried to move Valentine in. When that didn't work, you dated Tommy, and then you tried to move in with Tommy. That didn't work. I'm pretty sure you're probably talking to somebody, and I'm sure as soon as you've put a ring on that one, you're going to try to move them in with you as fast as humanly possible.
I can't be alone ever, not even for 5 minutes. And now I'm alone for days and days at a time, and I'm okay. So you might see it as a loop.
Are you alone for days and days at a time because you want to be? Because I love being alone. I love my partner. I love being alone. A week to myself. Oh, that sounds amazing. You, on the other hand, I don't believe you.
I don't. You know your comment section is public, right? Why lie about getting so much support? We can all see what people are saying to you, Amber. So I get a lot of private support, which I completely understand because when someone supports me publicly, they get actually bashed and attacked, and it's
No, she's making that up, and she knows she's making that up. Like I clarified this one earlier in the video, and I think it was Rachel that said, people love fighting on the internet. That's what the internet does. So, you know, this one's hard to believe because people would fight about this. Like, not fight. They would do that, right? Somebody would post a comment about, oh, I love you. And then someone would be like, no, you're an idiot. And then that person would come back and be like, no, you're the idiot. And then it would devolve from there, right? That's the internet. That's what the internet does, right? So I don't believe this statement. But again, this is part of the rewriting, the new Lynn, the PR campaign, right? She's trying desperately to convince us that she really is this beloved, and it's just all of the insidious haters that are hiding, are causing all of these supporters to hide. Tell your supporters to come out of hiding. If your supporters overwhelm the hate, then it doesn't matter, right?
really sad. For some reason, the haters cannot accept that there are people who actually like me and enjoy my content, and they can't accept a different opinion than theirs. So I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DMs weekly of people who are very, very supportive because I can't.
Then tell those people to stop DMing you and tell them to start leaving messages on your videos. And then you would have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of supportive comments on your videos, and it would drown out the hate. Curate your comments. I mean, you're going to get criticized for it one way or the other.
can't do that publicly. So when I say thank you for the support, I genuinely mean it, because the people who message me on Instagram are also watching my videos, and these videos are also for them. All right, so this is the last one. Bah ha 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 ha. You are literally deleting comments. I was reading one in the middle of it. Poof, it was gone and it's nowhere to be seen. So I didn't delete any comments on the community tab because I wanted to go into it completely raw. YouTube actually has a section where they automatically do it themselves if
Yeah, but they don't delete it in the middle of somebody reading it. If YouTube, for those of you who don't know, YouTube does self-curate. It's got a section, it'll hold comments. Like you as the channel person can tell it certain words that you want it to block. I have some. Full disclosure, I have some. And it'll pull those comments and put them in the hold section so that you can go in and see if it really does need to be held. But YouTube already has a bunch of things that it already will pull comments for, but it doesn't pull them while they don't get posted. They get pulled immediately, right? They get thrown into the hold section before they even get posted. They never get posted publicly until I go in and look at them, right? Unfortunately, I don't usually have a whole lot of them, right? I have a pretty good audience, and I'm pretty happy about that, honestly. One time I told you guys to use an eggplant as an emoji. Yeah, that set YouTube off. That was a lot of held comments. Learned that one. But anyway, it wasn't all of them either. It was very random, but there was a lot of held comments. But then there's also another section that they call hidden comments, and that's the section where you have to go through another loop to see those comments, and those are the ones that YouTube thinks are particularly egregious. Usually they're like, this is where the really bad words are, you know. And I'm sure we can all think of what those words, not your typical swear words, right? Obese is apparently one of those words though, so YouTube, really? Anyway, so after I get done checking holds, I then have to go check hidden. So there are 2 layers of automatic holds that YouTube will do. There's also this weird thing that YouTube will do, and I don't know what triggers it, and it happens on every channel that I'm aware of, and it can be any comment. So I don't know what triggers it. Sometimes YouTube just deletes comments. It just eats them. And I don't know why. I don't know, because they're not always comments that are nasty. Sometimes they're just like, hey, I love your video. And then it's like, nom, 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 nom. I never see them. And I'm not the only channel this happens to. It happens to a lot of channels. But again, it doesn't happen while someone is reading them. These comments never make it to the public, right? So if this person's claiming that they were reading the comment and the comment went poof, that means somebody went in and removed the comment while it was being read. Now, that could happen for a number of reasons. Amber could have been deleting that particular comment, or Amber could have blocked that user and it will delete their messages. Amber could have hidden that user and it will hide all of their messages. So it may not be that message in particular. It could have been the user, and it'll just mass remove everything from that user, right? So that could be what happened, because Amber does block people. So that might be what happened, and it had nothing to do with that particular comment, but the user themselves got booted, and because of that, all of their comments got booted. So that might be what happened. So if that is what happened, then no, she didn't delete comments. She just booted a user, which has the same effect. So there you go. There, we solved the problem. Mystery solved.
something is a little too hectic, for the lack of a better word, it goes into a completely different section and I have to approve the comment, but I never look at those. So you're never going to see that comment again. All right, so the next section.
I check those because 90% of the time there's no point for it being hidden. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing fucking wrong with these comments. I have no idea why YouTube decides to hold these comments. I literally cannot figure it out. I almost always approve pretty much everything that is either held or hidden. I don't know why YouTube doesn't like them. There have been, God, literally 5 comments, less than 5, comments where I have not approved them because they were just terrible. And that's it. Like, honestly, I don't even think there's been 5. I don't understand why YouTube pulls the comments it pulls.
Is the interview.
Yay.
I am so nervous. All right, let me get to my Instagram. I am beyond nervous.
I don't want to go over these because I don't actually care about them too much. I know people were saying, I do agree with Rachel in that Amber pre-listened to these because I don't believe she would go into these blind. And that's pretty much the only comment I have for that. This one, we might listen to some of these. I was listening to this one live. You can't get diagnosed with BPD by a psychologist, let alone one that doesn't specialize in BPD. You can, apparently. So Amber's answer is actually correct, but chances are she didn't get diagnosed by a social worker. So, oops. I don't get this one. Amberlynn lied about when she posted her ER pictures to Snapchat. I don't know, and I don't care. Bop. This video is pre-meltdown. Amber uses a filter. I don't care. And we're not doing this section. So we are done. We are done. We are finished. All right. We're going to stand here with her bad decisions your whole life. Anyhow. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to get caught up on these things. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It's a long video. My goal is to not edit. I don't think I need to edit anything out of this. All right. Anyway, so hopefully this whole video just kind of goes up the way it is. I'm on to you, Snowflake. I'm on to you. Anyhow, if you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave a... I was going to say eggplant, but let's not do that again. Let's not. Sunglasses. There we go. Leave sunglasses or glasses in the comments section for your emoji. This was a long one, so props. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say as we were going through it. So thank you everyone who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. I do have 3 levels of membership. So go ahead and check that out if you would like. YouTube likes me to tell you that. So, and yeah, if you've watched this and you like it, this is kind of the content we're going to be doing. We're just going to kind of glaze over Amber's stuff unless there's a major issue for us to talk about. I have already talked about her meltdown on the internet, but we will be going over her most recent video a little bit more in depth because she doubles down, and I want to talk about the double down because this stuff is all prior to the Destiny and Beck Q&A, which changes the tune a lot. It's very interesting. So there's that. And yeah. So that most recent video, I do want to spend a little more time on just that video because of that. Because I was a little surprised about her doubling down on it. And so look forward to that. That'll be a more typical format. Again, I will be linking the psychologist. No, he's a psychologist. He is, yeah. Anyway, he explains what he is. I'll be linking that video down below. If I forget, remind me. And I also want to link Rachel's video about Amber and her PR campaign down below. And again, if those aren't there, remind me. I'm getting better about it. So there's that. Anything else I need to say before we log off? I don't believe so. So yeah. Again, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and that's all I've got for you guys. So I will see everybody in the next video. Bye!
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.